Peeps, Kenny Molotov here at home. This is a vlog, but I wanted to do a quick disclaimer at the beginning of this because in the footage you're about to see, Dad and I are working with asbestos cement, and as the name entails, there is asbestos inside this pipe, and because of that, there are certain safety precautions you need to use when handling asbestos cement. Now, Dad and I did do a few things that were crucial to making sure that we were safe. We did get masks that were asbestos specific, and we also did wet the pipe before the incision was taking place. But in doing the research for this video right here, I came to realize that there were certain standards that we should have met that we didn't meet, which included wearing disposable suits and also making sure that the pipe was probably even more wet when the incision was taking place. And I also think we should have disposed of the pipes way sooner. So there were a few things that we did do in this video that were steps in the right direction with safety, but there were also other things that we should have been doing, and that's what I wanted to let the community know, because I don't want you to look at this video and think this is all that you need to do. What I want you to do is learn from our mistakes, take the extra necessary safety precautions, because our lives are extremely important, and I'm only realizing through this video how devastating asbestos can actually be for the human body. So keeping that all in mind, I have recently signed up for an asbestos training course in order to ensure that my dad and I are safe when we're on the job site working with asbestos. Make sure you ask your employers or take any necessary training courses in order to ensure that your lives are safe. With all that being said, enjoy vlog 39. Love you guys. Thank you for the support, and of course, practice plumbing safely. Here we go. Good morning, peeps. Welcome to another vlog. As you can see, we are in the brand new neighborhood, the one that I haven't shown you as of yet. It's 6:15 in the morning, and this is the new ritual of Kenny Molotov. So I usually wake up around 5:45, 6 o'clock. I get changed, I get my teeth brushed, and I'm right out the door. And then I do one of these. And then we're back at my parents' house, basically how it usually is in the morning time. Back for the same ritual that I do every morning, where I have breakfast, get yelled at by my dad to hurry up, and then get out the door. So peeps, the World Cup has officially started, and I don't know if you know this, but Kenny Molotov played a little bit of soccer in his time. So when I was asked this year to play in the FIFA World Cup, I told Cristiano, I was like, bro, I'm sorry, I got a bunch of risers to do, ton of bathtub, company's getting busy, the YouTube family is asking for more content, so I just want to apologize to the FIFA committee and tell them next World Cup, give me a call, and we'll see what we can do. All joking aside though, every World Cup season, my dad and I try to sneak in a game from time to time. Grab some wings, grab some fries, you know what I'm saying? So hopefully, I think we're gonna try to get out one of these days, just so we can watch an important game if we get the chance, you know what I mean? You gotta live life, you gotta enjoy the things that are happening around you while you're busy at work snaking drains, you know what I'm saying, peeps? Let's go to work. So peeps, today we got actually a little bit of a bigger job going on. Today we're going to be working with a bunch of Transite pipe, but also cast iron pipe. And I'm going to try to explain to you the difference between the two types of materials, because as of right now, I know all the suppliers do not carry Transite pipe anymore, and we'll go into the reasons why that is actually occurring. So are you guys ready for some cast iron pipes? Oh, by the way, peeps, you know what to do, baby. Let's go! Come in and grab new respirators, and one specific for the situation that I'm in. That's something you guys got to keep in mind, that every respirator is intended for some sort of thing, and you got to make sure it's the right thing, because we've made the same mistake in the past and realized some respirators were just not helping us in the situation that we were in. So we had to get asbestos respirators right here, because Transite pipe, if I haven't already told you, contains asbestos in it, and that's typically the reason why they try to discontinue it here in Ontario because they just don't want that material inside the buildings, and they don't want that material with workers as well. So that's something to keep in mind. Let's get to the job site. Let's figure out what we need. We then have to go to the supplier, and then we're gonna start putting in some cast iron, baby.
Complication. I'm a simple man, don't want a complication. Complication.
Alrighty peeps, we're here at the job site. I just want to show you exactly what we're doing. If you take a look right up here, you're gonna see a 90, and it's pretty discolored. There's been water running around it and probably through that joint at some point. So that's the reason why this entire thing occurred. The superintendent took a look up there and they said, look, there's obviously some water damage going on over there. So the entire property is being renovated, as you can see behind me, that we get in now, we get it done, because that's the building's cost. That's not the tenant's cost. So we're gonna basically be replacing it from this 90 all the way down to here, then across, and then as soon as you get to this section right here, it actually does another 45 and goes all the way through that. And this gray pipe that you're looking at right here is the Transite pipe I was telling you guys about. This is the one that actually has asbestos inside of it. So when you're cutting this pipe, it's crucial that you wet around the area that you're cutting. That way, basically, no dust is created when the cut is taking place, and that way you don't breathe anything in. But on top of that, we also wear masks just in case something goes awry and it doesn't work out the way we planned. At least we have an extra barrier of safety. All right, had a quick bite. We're about to get to work, but I just wanted to show you guys quickly. This is manufactured in Canada by a company called Bibby. Bibby actually got in contact with me this week because they saw a video where I did other cast iron pipes and they saw that their product was in it. So I just wanted to do a quick shout out, say hi to them. They said they might be even sending me some merchandise, which is super cool. So links in the description below. Check Bibby out when you get a chance. They are a pretty big manufacturer. Alrighty, and let's get to work. folks, I wanted to jump into the studio to talk about Transite pipe as a material. I want to talk about why it was used, how things have changed, and the benefits of its competitors. By the way, everything I'm about to read is going to be linked down in the description below, so if you want to do any further reading, go ahead and take a look at my sources and find out for yourself. Transite originated as a brand that Johns Manville created in 1929 for a line of asbestos cement products, including boards and pipes, being used throughout all of Canada and all of Ontario in order to do a lot of these roofing pipes. Now, a few years ago, the Globe and Mail published a paper on June 27, 2014, basically discussing how transite pipe or asbestos-based pipe was being used still in the residential area in Canada. But essentially, people are concerned about asbestos being in their homes because of its carcinogenic factor. Breathing in asbestos fibers can cause cancer and other diseases such as asbestosis, a scarring of the lungs, which makes it difficult to breathe, mesothelioma, a rare cancer of the lining of the chest or abdominal cavity, lung cancer. There are no significant health risks if materials containing asbestos in your home are tightly bound in products and are in good condition, sealed behind walls and floorboards, isolated in the attic, and left undisturbed. So in 2016, there seemed to be a big uproar in Canada where people started finally making some noise about having asbestos in their houses, especially if it's behind walls and you don't really know what the state of the pipes and the materials look like. Because if the materials are deteriorating, that's when the actual risk factor raises up, because now those fibers might be airborne. So I guess a lot of Canadians at this point decided, you know what, we're not happy with this. There are other materials out there that are not carcinogenic to us. Why don't we instead put these into our new houses instead of continuously make the same mistake over and over and over again? So on December 15, 2016, the Government of Canada announced a government-wide strategy to manage asbestos. One element of this strategy is the development of new regulations under the Canadian Environment Protection Act, prohibit the manufacture, use, import, and export of asbestos and products containing asbestos by 2018. And recently, CBC put out this article right here, which was on January 9th, 2018, basically saying that Canada has officially created a ban on asbestos products, and that's why when we started calling our suppliers for materials, we realized that none of the suppliers here in Ontario carried the asbestos pipe anymore, the transite pipe anymore. So it was really interesting for us to find that out in the lieu of us trying to get this job done, essentially. So instead of doing asbestos, we decided to go ahead and put in cast iron, which had a lot of the same benefits as asbestos, except it didn't have a carcinogenic element to it. Now, the one thing I wanted to state about asbestos is that there were a couple of advantages of using it. One of them was obviously that it was a cheap material that you can buy, and every time you deal with construction or any sort of job planning, that's something to keep in mind. But it's also fire resistant, which is crucial when it comes to buildings and building codes. I know that when we're doing rough-ins, we have to decide on what pipes we're actually using because of the smoke factor and because of the burning factor of these pipes. When you deal with houses, the rules aren't as strict as when you start dealing with high-rise buildings that are intended for people to live in, because in those buildings you're dealing with hundreds of people, and that's why in those buildings the fire regulations are even more stringent. So you always have to put in cast iron pipe, you always have to use XFR if you are using any sort of plastic pipe. If you're not using plastic pipe, it's only copper and brass, because they don't produce any smoke that might be toxic to the human body. So these are things, something to keep in mind, and that is why asbestos was used at one time or another. But because of its ill effects on the human body if it's breathed in, we decided as a country to say, you know what, we're going to stop with importing asbestos, and that's why we've moved over to other materials such as cast iron.
Complication. I'm a simple man, don't want a complication. Complication. Simple on a
So the drain is officially in, as you can see above us right there. That's the new 90 coming all the way across from Dad. Picks up a 45 and continues its journey this way, and then hits another 45 and then goes into the room all the way down in there. The biggest thing that we had to focus on was making sure that the level was actually still good. Transite pipe had an outer diameter that was way larger. These hangers that were initially put in were bigger design for the Transite pipe, so we had to adjust them a little bit in order to continue on and ensure that the slope was correct for this drain right here. But fortunately, we actually had enough space to bring it up and down, and nothing was obstructing in the way in order to get that done. So right now, the next phase is going to be actually testing the drain. My father's gonna go up to the roof and he's just gonna let a bunch of water down in, and we're gonna sit back and wait and see how it looks once it's pressurized. And as soon as that's done and it looks okay, we get the thumbs up, we take off and enjoy our weekend. I hope you liked the conversation about Transite and cast iron pipe. Like, subscribe, comment below, and I'll see you guys very soon. Kenny Molotov, guys. Peace, baby.